Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium, numerologist, healer, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there is always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Psychic Hour. We have guest medium and author Colin Walker, and we're going to be going into an interview show in just a little bit. So please, everybody say hi. If you could please join us and pop down your questions about spirituality, life, consciousness, your personal experience within the world, and how you're feeling. We're all here to discuss it. Let's dive in. And let me say hello to everybody coming on in. Hello. Hello, Wheezy. Hello. Hello, Lois. Ascending Universal Butterfly. Bernadette. Hello. Dominate. Hello, hello. Let me scroll down. Evelyn. Oh, hey, Evelyn. It's great to see you. Hello, beautiful Evelyn. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Mel from Australia, and Evelyn from California. Yeah, pop down where you're from. I always love to see it. Evelyn says, welcome, Colin. And yes, Wheezy, you were the first. You were the first. We acknowledge. Hello, Jennifer Rose. Hello. I love different names. I think that's right. Cryanery. Hello, welcome. Hello, Ava. Hello, Jennifer McCormick. Hello, Cheryl Myers. Hello, Emma Jane. Jennifer's from Las Vegas. Awesome. Veronica Jenkins. Hello, Veronica. Charlene. Hello, Charlene. Suki. Hello, from Australia too as well. Wonderful. And Lois, you're from the UK. Beautiful. Hello. We're chatting tonight, but we're also taking spiritual questions, everybody. So you can be very much in the mix. And if you have a question directly related to your life, we won't be going into necessarily a full-blown reading, but we'll talk about the energy of it and maybe the consciousness that comes forth. So it's kind of like diving in. It's not your typical reading, absolutely not, but we read the energy still. So I encourage people to really share whatever comes up. Lindsay, hello. Sue, hello. Christine from Scotland, everybody, hello. Oh my gosh, thank you for your hellos. Kim and June, Cher from Pennsylvania, Woodland, Limerick, Diane, hello from Scotland, hello. It's wonderful to see everybody. Helen from Wiltshire, England. Charlene from England, hello. Canada, Pay. I don't know what the pay part is, but thank you for your hellos from Canada. Hello. Evelyn is saying, do we get spirit points to read them first? Actually, sometimes yes. Life. Maybe sometimes we talk a little bit topic of the day, but life does reward where energy is ready. And for whatever reason, Wheezy, K-Weezy, he likes to be called Wheezy. Wheezy was like, there's a show coming. I'm ready. I know I want to be a part of it, which thank you very much. But yeah, where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're the first, you are lined up with that energy. It's not about comparisons. It's just someone's really lined up with that energy. They're grounded. They're locked up within the energy. They're going to get there. They are aligned to that situation. So it's very fascinating. Sometimes, yes, we acknowledge the early risers, the ready ones. Jennifer always seems to be Yes, there's a lot of Jennifers always on the live. Jennifer Andrews, Jennifer Rose, Jennifer McCormick, other Jennifers. Hello. Natalie, hello from Wales. Hello. I'm from California, everybody, the Orange County area. So I'm saying hello back to you from my area. Jennifer's giving a lot of love. Jennifer Rose. Hey, Stacia. Hey. Hello. Are we there yet? I don't know, Jennifer. I don't know. Hello, Jess. It's great to see you. Hello, Jill. Hello. Okay, everybody. Patrick. Hello, Patrick. Brolick. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Michelle Oliver. So many actually wonderful, familiar faces and names. Thank you. Ronnie. Ronnie's in the house. Hello, Ronnie. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Sandra. Welcome, Sandra. Natalie. Hello. All right, everybody. Let's get started. Patrick's from Ireland, Law Rink, Ireland. Welcome. I have not been to Ireland. I want to go. I want to go Scotland, all the places, all the places. Hello, hello. Yes. Geraldine. Hello from Liverpool. Hello. All right. So everybody, please join the conversation. We are doing the interview show. And let's bring in Colin Walker from the start away we go. Start it off, right? Hello.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you so much for the invitation. And hello to everybody. I was watching you go through all those names. It's like, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Great to have you all here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're blessed to have so many wonderful people from around the world. Some people here from your pages, my pages, Jennifer's pages, Veronica's pages. It truly takes a village. And maybe that's a place we can start off. I mean, we're not able to do what we do because we do it just by ourselves. Sure, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
We
Hi,
really
Patrick.
have to have. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I see Patrick was saying, the last time I tried to say hi, Patrick, the show had finished. He didn't hear me.
Well, he's saying hi. He's saying hi right now.
Looking at it's hi, Patrick, and I was looking at Evelyn's. She said, "I've started." She's grinning already, and we ain't started.
The enthusiasm is there. Jennifer saying Colin. Bernie saying
Jennifer.
hi.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer Rose. And all the Jennifers. How many Jennifers are on tonight? Who knew my bus lights?
There's 3 or 4 on tonight. There's definitely at least 3 right now with us. Patrick says he renewed his bus license.
Yeah, he started off with 1 bus. He's probably got about 3 or 4 buses now. I think he's going to need up to 10.
Oh my gosh. Charlene says, hello, Colin.
Hi, Charlene. Lovely to see you. Or have you with us? Lewis. Hey. Hi, Lewis.
Hello.
I don't know what to say. You guys are amazing. It's like, thank you all for coming. Hi, Ava.
Carolyn's from South Africa.
Hi, Caroline. Caroline, sorry.
No, go. Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
And we're just feeling the love. So Rose says hi, and yes, everybody, thank you. Okay, so what I was saying was that we really can't do this alone. It really is collective energy that moves so many things. Maybe you are leading with intention and thought, but it can't just stay that way in order for things to grow and change and move. And what's your thought about collective energy as a human with other humans?
Well, it's the number one. It's the most important thing going, collectivity. I know people's opinions differ, but if the problem, without going too far, the issue with humanity is divide and division. And so because there's an individualism aspect. So we've got to have that collectivism. And I'm pleased you started off with the village aspect, because I have a tendency to think these things like, all the podcasts and chats and everybody, what's going on around the world like you're doing and Jennifer Rose, etc. They're like small town squares. where everybody comes to meet and they can talk about the topic and the subject. And from that, growth comes out of it, spiritual growth and spiritual expansion. So in a way, it starts at home and the community at home. I tend to stay away from tribes and the weird tribe and tribal aspect because of the divide and division. You get one tribe, you get the opposing tribe, another tribe. But I think what we're looking at here is a collective community of souls. That's what we're looking at. And in a physical body, in a vehicle, which is carrying us upon this earth plane or upon the physical earth, I liken it to a plane rather than just a solid mass of the earth. So the physical body is carrying the soul, and the soul is profoundly interconnected to every other soul in so many ways. And the different facets of the soul, of each individual soul, is what makes the beauty of the collective itself. So I think we're at a point now, Kelly, where we can liken it to a cleansing of the house, what's taking place in the world. We know there's a cosmic event. It's not just a small event, we know it's a cosmic event. The cosmic event is dictating and determining, it's in control basically, and it's saying the light is coming, and humanity's got to be ready for it. And that's why we've got all these awakenings taking place, etc. And I think hope is needed at the moment. I think hope and support and inspiration and community is needed so badly at the moment for everybody, without any taking sides. I don't take sides. I believe in the Buddhist tradition where you walk, the middle way is the true way. And I think if we just go into that stillness and that peace, or that silence, if you like, within us, and just pull back a little bit, then we expand and we go, okay, I am part of the collective. In a multidimensional fashion, not just as a human being on the earth. Yes. So, I mean, we can open this up as far as it's just going to expand, isn't it?
Yes, I do think that people are becoming enlightened. A lot more people are interested in spirituality, thus acknowledging that they are a soul and looking into the soul's knowing and not just what the world has taught us or even how we've been raised. It's getting shattered into something more connected with the truth. I thought it was really interesting what you said at the beginning too. You said that like groups or tribes, even if we're working together, as soon as like a gathering of people comes together, it's energetically then there is an opposing group that forms.
That's right. Yeah.
And so even when there's the formation of so much good happening within the world, we have to deal with these other themes.
Yes. Yeah. I think collectively, I mean, we've got to be realistic of what's going on, who we are, our stage in evolution, and our level of understanding is determined by the expanse of our consciousness. This is one of the beautiful things what's happening now. People's minds are opening up. There's an expanse of consciousness. And in that, the mind begins, or the psyche, whichever way we look at it, the mind begins to perceive and see and understand that there's a purer vibration of truth, which tells us there's more vibrations of truth as well, yet to be seen. So what we're trying to do is cope with the individual aspect of existing on the planet. And we're trying to cope with the collective energy and this multitude of wavelengths, frequencies, and vibrations, what are affecting everybody at the moment. So if we take the recent frequencies, what's in and they're just slightly passing for most people now. But the last fortnight has been an incredible dense wave of energy, which everybody's had to cope with. Now, we could say that may have been, we could connect that to collective karma, that we're purifying that, we're clearing that energy, we're cleansing it in order to evolve to that next stage. Because I believe everything is a step in evolution, whether we deem it negative or positive. When we come into the center point, and again, I'll refer to the stillness, that in stillness there's clarity. It's natural that there's an empty space within us and we can see clearer. And then we go, okay, this polarity is causing a lot of difficulties for a lot of people and a lot of suffering for a lot of people. So where's the true answer? Well, it's got to be in the light of the soul. It's got to, that's where it abides, because we all believe that the light of the soul is pure. And if we step into the light of our soul, there's clarity there. In effect, that's what light is. Light is clarity itself. Like if we walk in a room and it's dark and we put the light on, everything becomes clear. So it's interesting times where we're at the minute. And I know Spirit, we've just come out of we've just literally, before we came on here, we've come out of we've got a chance course on Monocle Consciousness Group, and we've just done one of the sessions. And it was different this evening, without revealing too much about, because obviously it's private. It's not private, but respecting everybody's privacy. But the conversation at the end was about the variations of energies, what was taking place within the circle, and how different it was, and relating them to these energies, what's happening in the world now, and then putting that to where is Spirit and those celestial beings in all of this, and what they're trying to tell us. And it's that there's a constant with Spirit, or they're always saying, just stick to the path, keep aligned, prepare yourself for this event as much as you possibly can, and keep moving forward. Because that's where we're here. We're here with you all. That's their words. It's like we're here constantly. Sometimes you might not be able to reach us. Sometimes it might feel that we're distant from you. But in effect, they're not distant from us. We pull away from them.
Yes.
So there's so many facets going on, because we get distracted and we get engrossed by what's going on the planet. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, no, there's a lot of distractions that go on the planet. Like, we're doing our work. We have our values, we have our beliefs, we have our passions, and then we get, sidetracked, and plans derail, emotions, moods, conflict. Yeah. It's all really, really interesting, and we're all figuring it out. Speaking of, it's very funny, and I'm gonna give you the stage in just a second. I just realized that I did not bring my power cord in here, which is very, very, again, today is very, very interesting. So my computer is about to shut down, and I should fix that really quick. So I'm right here, but I'm gonna go grab that, and I'm gonna hand the stage to you, and I'll be right back.
You're gonna leave me on my own, aren't you? Okay, let's see where we go.
You're amongst friends.
Right, I'm just going to go off on one then. I'll just go off on one.
There's a lot of comments in here, and there's a lot of questions.
Jennifer saved the day. Colin, can you share ways to expand consciousness with us? Jennifer, thank you so much. Oh, rather, excuse me for the coughing. Stillness, Jennifer. Stillness seems so easy, doesn't it? So if we learn to meditate, and we can deepen that sense of meditation, where we can start to feel those kind of vibrations of peace, and we deepen that sense of peace and go further, we begin to enter into that point of what we refer to as stillness, where everything becomes completely still, and then we deepen that stillness further. And in that process, what takes place is the mind will naturally expand. That's through meditation. It will naturally begin to open up, expand. We become more sensitive, like a tuning fork. We begin to sense spiritual energies and other energies, dimensions and realms and planes, etc. And we view that as an expansion. We can add to this and say, well, the expansion, which direction do we expand in? Well, in all directions. Because I believe, and I've always thought this, that when we ask the question why I'm here in this world, I believe we've come to put light into this plane or wave of existence. All of us. And we've come to transform energies. So we're using the body as a vehicle. The light is in. We expand the light. Spirit guide, then come and guide us. All those light beings, star beings, etc. They come to guide us within these dimensions, what we're existing in. And we're transforming the densities of this plane or these planes. So we've got this constant expansion, if that makes sense, with all the time with the guidance of those beautiful beings in the world of spirit. So that's one way of expanding our consciousness. We can make reference to expanding the consciousness as in opening up, when we refer to opening up to spirit. So we can just imagine our mind just literally expanding outwards in this very moment. And as we feel and sense that opening up, we're refining the sensitivity of our awareness. And that's when we start feeling and becoming aware and sensing those subtle, what's called the subtle vibrations of reality. And we can't say those other realities. There's only one reality, but there's many frequencies and subtle vibrations of what we sense and become aware of in all directions. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Kelly's back. That saved me.
I am, and I think this is interesting. So I'm going to take this question and I'm going to bridge it to another question. And so Jennifer asks, why does silence make me very uncomfortable? And really, I thought it was interesting because within what you were answering with consciousness, you highlighted the need for stillness. And the need for stillness goes with the need for silence sometimes. And it takes me back in my own consciousness to this understanding of like the space of pre-creation, like the void. Okay. And so it's like we need these very quiet, these very still type of energies in order then thus to produce, to create, to generate. And so there is a place for that almost that emptiness, that nothingness, and really it feels like, whoa, like I have so much of this other energy. This doesn't feel very good. And really, it's the complementary nature. As soon as you get comfortable with it, you're able to do much more, be much more conscious, and you're connected. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, Kelly. I can't see the question for some reason. The bottom of my screen is, maybe it'll go on me. Is it, why do I feel uncomfortable?
Yes, it's why does silence make me feel very uncomfortable? It's
Right.
It's up higher in the comments, and then it's
Okay. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer Andrews. Okay, brilliant question. And I think it's very common what you're asking as well. So I think it's a very pertinent question. So I'm going to try and simplify this. It's to do with attachments and attachment itself. Because when we land on the planet, silence is scary. When we land on the planet, well, I say land, when we're born, we're literally our senses are bombarded by other frequencies, noise, sound, people's voices, machinery, and we go through life and our senses are completely bombarded. And in order to cope with that, what happens is we adjust our frequency to that frequency. So we then become more accepting of all the noise around us, okay? With all the distractions, TV, work conditions, whatever's going on in our world, in the periphery of our field of energy. So we use a coping mechanism, and we try to attune with it. But in that attunement, what we're doing is we're getting attached to some of it. So we're attached to being on the move. We're attached to people's conversation. We're attached to being active on that kind of frequency of our awareness. So when somebody goes, okay, if it just becomes still, the first thing what comes at us is all the noise again. And we're attached to it. And therefore we go, well, I don't want to let go of all this noise now because I'm used to it. I'm familiar with it. It's a part of me. And the stillness of the soul is going, no, I'm here. It's okay. Just keep coming this way. keep coming this way, because I'm going to give you the peace, and I'm going to give you that love and security, all the rest of it. But most importantly, it gives us that smooth, almost like a flat pond, still pond, a velvet still pond of complete stillness. And in there is the truth of what we're all searching for. That's the short version.
I think so. I think it's scary because we don't know the extent of our soul.
Yeah.
And it's a very different experience, and we have to meet it.
Yeah.
And at first, to have the experience of being wise, you have to fully experience not knowing and being
Ignorance.
lost and confused and scared, right?
Yeah.
So you journey past that, and you start getting answers, and you start maybe not, we don't know everything, but you start being more comfortable traversing, and that's where the wisdom comes from. And again, in order to have power, you have to feel powerless at times.
Yeah.
And when we're in these spaces, we feel very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Definitely.
The next part is even better if we keep going, and maybe that next part is 3 months or a year of this. Maybe it's a day of it. I don't know, but we have to get to the next part. There's better parts after this if you feel really, really scared with silence.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's funny you mentioned something there as well, Kelly, which is in that process is where we, by communicating with each other in places of a spiritual, like in the spiritual space, when I always refer to this, what's happening and what's taking place at the moment, it has created a spiritual space globally. So we're all kind of inside this spiritual space, talking, communicating, sharing, etc., healing, everything. It's beautiful. And by being in the space, it leads us, it's gradually doing its own thing. It's leading us towards the stillness within. Because all the talks, all the conversation, all the books, all the knowledge of spiritual teachings are constantly leading us to the light of our soul, which is the stillness within, that inner light of awareness, where we can abide in that still pond. So interesting that it's come up.
I do think it's helpful to talk about. I think this actually kind of goes together with one another. Bernie asks, how do I reach my higher conscience or consciousness? And so let's talk about that, but almost in with what I want to talk about is there's so many stories of how people have done it. And Helen right here, when I grieved, I spent a lot of time in quiet, and that's when I felt spirit around me. It makes sense to me. So interesting. When you quiet your mind, you open up.
Yeah. Spot
People
on.
are already experiencing it.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Spot
it's like
on. I think Helen answered the question.
Yeah. It's like when we say, it's funny because in part of the conversation earlier on the group, there was a comment, and it was about when we become still, we get closer to spirit, which is literally what takes place. Hi, Stacey. And the issue in mediumship is if we still the mind, then spirit there's less distractions in the way of spirit. It makes it more smoother for spirit to come closer to us. Because if our mind is active and we're fittering and jittering around all the time, then spirit's constantly trying to get through them. And it's difficult for them to do that. Whereas we still the mind and just allow them, it kind of opens, when we say open the door, the stillness then creates this fluid, flat space or route for them where they go, oh, we can come in this way. And when we're talking about mediumship, when we say, because often we'll say, well, spirit's not here, spirit's left me, or you'll often hear mediums say, oh, I'll just ask them to come back. They've never left. The medium's mind has moved away from those vibrations because it's become active again. It's come out of its vibration of stillness, or that awareness, that attunement, what we make. So we go, okay, I'll just ask them to come back. And spirit are laughing their heads off and go, we ain't gone anywhere, we're still here. And they're going, what's happened? It's because our mind, so what we're looking at is our mind at all times, and trying to quiet the monkey mind, what anybody wants to call it, etc.
For sure. I
So
do
much.
think, energy, let's say we can only, handle so much. Like we can only handle so much food. We can only handle so much staying awake. We can only handle so much, talking to the spirit world. So there's a natural lull of, I move away, or now I'm doing this. And, but we are all connected, and it can get very taxing to be so stimulated by everything. And it is very important to silence and silence the mind, and go within and recalibrate. I feel like we're taking on so much that it's just like more information, more feelings, more memories. Every day we're adding to like our software, we're adding to our soul knowledge, you could say.
Totally.
That we need to kind of organize for a second, recalibrate, and just go, okay, let's just get a hold on this. And I think, Jennifer saying when she has silence, she cries. And I think that's actually beautiful because you're moving energy at the same time. There's so much moving even with silence.
Yeah.
There's so much moving even with stillness. It's just more manageable.
It's it's funny. The reason why I'm smiling at that, what Jennifer's just written, is because she's either picked my thoughts up or I picked hers up. Because I was going to move on to the aspect of healing in relation to silence and stillness. Silence is one of the best healers for us. And one of the reasons surrounding that kind of aspect is in stillness or silence, whichever word you want to use, the light begins to permeate with a greater sense of intensity. It starts to illuminate. And what that does, as it's expanding from the center point of stillness outwards, it's interacting with those aspects what we're carrying, thoughts and emotions, and it begins to transform them and dissolve them. So stillness is one of the greatest healers, what we've got. It's like everything is here, isn't it? So that was a really good point. So I'm not surprised you have tears when it's silent, Jennifer. That's the reason for it, is because the light shines brighter from within and lets go of the old emotion.
I think that's a very great point, because if we just think about it, if we go to, maybe not everyone does this, but if someone goes to a Reiki healer, it's silent. You might have some music, but the healer's concentrating on the energy and moving it and learning about it, which what we do in meditation as well sometimes, or in review, in silence. We're being connected to ourselves on a much deeper level. And the medium has to do that too. Sure, they're talking when they're with you, but right before, they have a moment where they go to that place too. It's very
preparation.
important.
Yeah, it's like what we've got at the moment playing out. Three aspects is we've got the past conditions which the mind will carry from this lifetime and previous incarnations. We've then got in the middle the letting go process, which is taking place. People are letting go now. This is a big year of letting go, or shadow work, etc. The healing aspect of dissolving past conditions. That's opening the space up, and that new space now what's been put in the new space is beautiful spiritual teaching. So we've got these three aspects. But ideally, if we really kind of go bit deeper into this, ideally, it's best if we become the pure channel and we don't hold on to one thought or one emotion. that we just allow them to flow through us and put them into action if it's appropriate to do so, and be completely empty. Because the closer we get to stillness, the closer we get to emptiness. And that's what all the guides everywhere are trying to get us to do, that, to empty ourselves. When we say, I wish to be an empty vessel for spirit, we're saying it, we're referring to emptiness. So we're at a really interesting point in evolution at the moment as souls. And when we talk about the soul, one thing what strikes me, we have this sense of separation again. We think the soul is inside us somewhere. Okay, the light of the soul within. In effect, what we're talking and what's present with us now is a vibration of our soul. So when we go inwards, we're just going closer to the pure vibrations, frequencies of our soul, which is our consciousness or our awareness, if you like. And when we start piecing everything together, that's when we go, wow, hang on a minute, we are kind of more than what we thought was. Exactly what you said, Kelly. The limitations of our knowledge is self-imposed by us. But if we had too much knowledge too soon, it would overload us. We've got to deal and sort and transform and bring the light from what we've gathered from all the experiences we have, and continuously clear and clear and clear as we go forward. The gifts of healing and mediumship and psychic aspects, etc. These are natural aspects which just ripen as we clear. There's so much more still we've got to open up to, which is waiting for the human mind. And I say the human mind because when we're in the body, as in when we're in the body, once we open up to further things, we're just going to see phenomenal revelations and great beauty of the cosmos. So, and we can do that in the body, but it's got to be done when the time's correct and when the karma's correct, and in conjunction or in relation to cosmic order. So it's not as if somebody's saying, no, you can't see this at the minute. It's whether we're ready to take that extra piece of information in. And that's our choice. So the more we clear, the more we can receive, as in knowledge and understanding and expansion.
Yeah, I think it's a cycle of receiving and then letting go, a taking in and clearing. We need both to move energy. We can't just, I have this experience and I have, these resources and I have this house and I have this partner and I have this job and I have this and I have this and I have this. No, you have to, as you're having, you let things go and you move and you realize, and the energy has to be in certain conditions. And maybe that sounds a little esoteric, but it kind of goes back to what you were saying, at least my thoughts, where you said, no, the soul isn't in the body. And I believe that too. I believe that the body is in the soul. And that sounds so, like, to conceptualize that is weird, because it's like, wouldn't we have autonomy if this like really small thing was just, connected to this greatness? Like, wouldn't we have all these options? Wouldn't we have all this knowing? Wouldn't we have all this mastery? And then we're just like piloting this little vehicle. No, for whatever reason, we're focusing on the human experience, and we have to remember that we have all these buttons, bells, and whistles that are disposable to us.
Correct. Yes.
We have no idea, though.
Yes. Yeah. Very interesting, because it's perception in it. When we look at perception and trying to understand what perception is, where it comes from, and because then that gives a greater understanding of spirit and the spirit world. So then when we're looking at the physical body, and again, our relationship to the physical body is determined by the thought itself. So, hi, Alison. So most people, because of the conditioning, associate with the physical body to be this dense, solid mass. But clearly we're not. So the actual body, we know it's just made up of particles, atoms. But when we view the body in a specific way or a certain way, we see that it's empty. It's kind of just light is permeating all the way through it and vibrating off it. So the body is not what people actually believe it is, or what's been taught that it is. It really isn't. It's this absolutely beautiful form of light, which when you break it down, the space between every particle and every atom, you know, and if you brought all the particles and atoms together, they would be so minuscule from the whole body. It's our perception what goes, okay, you know, this is solid matter. Well, that's just because we're perceiving it as solid matter rather than seeing it as particles of light and energy. And once we start seeing it that, then we start moving towards the ethereal, and seeing everything as an ethereal wave of energy, formless, if that makes sense, you know, without stretching it too far. And I don't believe we actually know what we are at the moment completely. You know, we're a physical body. It's funny, it's always interesting the outside of damage the soul in 3D terms. It's true, yeah. It's funny because I was just going to mention the point what Veronica referred to earlier about we're spiritual, having a human experience. That's up to present knowledge and present understanding. I think we're at the point, and I think Sue Townsend mentioned something earlier, but we're at the point now where we're going to run out of language because we're trying to describe things which are now indescribable according to human language. We're going to run out of words. We're expanding beyond language and words. We're on the threshold of that. Words and language have been helpful to us to get us to this point to understand different things, because we only use language and words in order to define something, so it makes sense to us. It's like time. We use time because everything's slowed down, so we can make sense of it. We can measure, etc. Now we're at that point on the threshold where we're really opening up to the spiritual dimensions, as we refer to as a spiritual dimension. And it's like, are we spiritual beings? Are we ethereal beings? Are we cosmic beings? And you just go, in the end, you just go, none of them. They're just human concepts and human labels. But they've helped to get us this far. But they are so limited. And even now, language is now becoming imposing upon us as a collective group of souls, so to speak. And when we move towards talking about energies and wavelength frequencies and vibrations and dimensions and all the different various dimensions, you know, we've got to move beyond language, because it can only come by our senses on an inner level, on a very subtle level, and go, okay, we've defined things up to now. Where we're going next? It's like, can't define stuff. How do you define the soul? How do you define the light of the soul? How do you define spirit? How do you define star beams? We can have almost like glimpse within our mind, or a visual sense of what they may or may not be. We may sense them come around us in a certain form, but that's merely a reflection, similar to an hologram, or they project in order for it to make sense of them. They're diluting and turning their light down as they come towards us. Otherwise, it would just, you know, frazzle our eyes, so to speak. It'd be too intense for us. So it's like everything's contained for a reason until the time comes where we can expand and open up further, which is now the time.
I do think it goes back to if you walk the way it appears, if there's a will, there's a way. So if there's something within you, your consciousness will lead you to where that exists, or even your consciousness co-creates that to exist.
Yeah.
So I really encourage people, you know, to dream and to act and to do and to make the steps within the world, because you don't have to wait. You don't have to just be frustrated. You don't have to go, well, when's the time? Sure, when you act, you will be going through trials and tribulations and confusion, dark night of the soul, and you'll be like, it's not time, but it actually is time to generate it to you. It is. You get to start that clock faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Because we're beyond, like you said, we're beyond language, we're beyond time, we're beyond space, we're celestial beings, we're energetic beings. So if the energy is inside you, you can get that going and it will reflect
Yes.
itself out
Yeah.
right in front of you. Even if you can't see it yet, it's making its way towards you.
Yes. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful stuff.
It is. So I don't know what we are, but I believe that we're like creative, imaginative beings,
Yeah.
and we really can continuously do so much more and have so much beauty within the world, knowing that power and that side of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Kelly. I think to add to that, I'll go along with that because I mean, if we moving on that frequency, what you've just kind of presented and put into the space. In the stillness, we recognize pure light in its, I can't say greatest form, but to a degree in its purest form. And in its purest form is where everything and nothing exists. And all the worries, all the fears, all the human conditions dissolve. And they hold no gravity at a certain point. The only reason why worries and fears hold gravity is because we give them that gravity. Hi, Michael. We give them that sense of, and that's in accordance to our attachment to them and our grasping of the conditions. But in the light of the soul, earthly matters hold no strength over us, none whatsoever. And the recognition that we are beings of light, I was going to say enlightened beings, but there's enlightened beings, and then there's the path of enlightenment and the many frequencies of what we meet along the way. But the beauty of that light, that inner light, elevates us and ascends their consciousness to such a degree that all earthly conditions really can't touch it. They can't touch it.
Yeah, I think, you know, we're talking about potential, and then we're talking about, you know, the just collective nature of, if you're everything, it doesn't really matter really what to call yourself. If we are definable, I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
But if we are everything, well, then it's always constantly being created. But if we are something, and if we are, let's say, like alchemists, like beings, creative, imaginative, like beings, where's the boundary and the limit when we go past a certain part of ourselves, whether a certain part in space, conceptual time, conceptual evolution, conceptual whatever, do we stop being that and become something else?
I liken it to, I think that's beautiful the way you just put it, Kelly. And there is no limitation apart from the self-imposed one. And it is to do with one of our biggest hurdles to overcome is the conceptualization of everything. You know, we like to put everything in a box, tick it off, etc. So it's like, no, forget it. We need to forget all that stuff. We can say the devil's in the detail, but if you're looking too much for the details, you're going to miss the big picture as well, because the puzzle can't be made without all the pieces. But it's pointless, you know, just looking at all the pieces if you can't see the bigger puzzle when it's finished. So there's that constant aspect of unfoldment, if you like. But I think where we are at the moment, we're literally on the fringe, evolutionary speaking, of that infinite, limitless awareness and recognizing it. We're going to move from learning to knowing. very fast, I think, and very soon. Because in that infinite awareness, knowing is the next thing we meet. It's in there. It's okay saying we're knowing beings, but when we abide in that sense of knowing, there's a frequency within that which informs us, where our awareness can sense the frequency that we are all knowing beings in any moment we're in, if that makes sense. And we're looking at the simplicity of existence now, which is, we know we are in a space at the moment where we can communicate with other realms, with spiritual beings. And we're now starting to realize that we are that thing which we're communicating with.
Yes.
And that thing, what we're communicating with, is also us, which takes us back to the original thing, that one word you mentioned at the beginning, the collectivism, the collective mind. So, and then and we're looking at really the closest we can get to taming, from me, my understanding. And I've peeled the layers after layers after layers internally back to try and get to the purest truth I possibly can. And the closest we can get, from my understanding, is we are awareness itself.
Yes. I do believe that.
Yeah. And imagine if we are awareness, the expanse of where it can touch the edges of infinity. Because there's no limits, and we know, we're having the conversation, we know there's no limits apart from what we put on ourselves. So therefore, if we're awareness, we're infinite forms of awareness. And yet we can't describe that form, which makes us a form but formless. So that gets thrown out the window straight away. So it brings us back to the center point of awareness. What is that awareness? Is it light? Is it clarity? Is there something beyond light? Is there something beyond clarity? Is there something beyond awareness? At the moment, we're at that point, I think, where we're going to experience the next stage of that celestial awareness of being.
Sure.
That's where I am at the moment.
I do think we are experiencing different stages, and I do believe you said earlier that they have found that we are communicating like to a part of ourselves. There's intelligence out there where it seems like we're connected to that intelligence. Like there's an evolved form, and we how can I put it? Like we're connected to an alien race of some sort. We're like they're an evolved version of us, and you could even say the star seeds are an evolved version of us, and we're just communicating with different timelines or different places within who we just are, because time is folded upon itself.
Yeah, totally agree. Absolutely. And again, it makes us feel comfortable. It makes some people feel comfortable when we're giving terms and labels and etc. to these forms or these things, the star beings, the spirit world, these souls, etc., etc. And I don't think it's any of them. It's just our human mind saying, well, I've got such and such with me. And really what we should be looking at, I suppose, not looking, it's not for me to say what anybody should look at, but we've got to take into consideration in that process of unfolding and recognizing who we are, our previous incarnations as infinite beings. So we know there's a multitude of incarnations, and every single aspect of all those previous infinite number of incarnations are present now with us. So we're communicating with all them things. Then we can say, okay, how many of those lifetimes are actually our spiritual guides, what we refer to as spiritual guides?
Yeah, that too. It's not just Right, aliens and star seeds and
No,
beings.
that's right.
It's the other
Yeah.
side too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what we're at that stage when we're talking about the higher self, then I think
Colin, you frozen.
we've
Colin.
got
Let's see if it's coming back.
to really
Colin, I'm gonna
please.
really quick. Let's see if he's. I'm just taking Colin off the screen for a second because he is going very distorted and it's creating some noise. I think he's back though. Let's see. You back?
Yes, I'm back. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
You were in slow motion and it was creating a bunch of different sounds.
But anyway, yeah.
Hello,
So here we are.
Courtney and Michael and Nancy and everyone. Hello. Hello, Libertad. Hello. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's so many different parts of ourselves playing out. We're all connected. Whether it feels very, very intrinsic with us, like we're connected to a certain star system or a guide or a celestial race, even. I don't know. We're all connected to something that we've seen that spiritually invigorates us and makes us explore more of who we are. And I think they're all parts of us later down the line, or a reflection of this life, but nonetheless connected to us. There's a lot of questions that I want to get to actually that help kind of traverse the terrain that we're talking on. Hello, June. Hello, Dolores. Hello, Andrea. If you see one you like too, let me know to pick it.
Yeah, all of them. I like all
out.
of them. All the questions. Oh, I can't see the questions.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Is,
I can give you a couple, and you can let me know what you are kind of attracted to diving into. One is, are we shifting timelines? Do we have lost luggage that dictates our current life? Let's see. Michelle, some mornings when I awake, I feel like I haven't rested at all and I feel very exhausted when I open my eyes. Certain times I have memory of being somewhere else. I've even continued where I left off. How old were you, Colin, when you realized you had your gift? There's way more questions than that.
Let's go for that.
Are there any that, and I like this one too as well. This is the last highlight. How do I try not to expect anything? Which one did you want? Which one?
Yeah, let's start with that one, Kelly.
Okay.
I think we should start with that one because this is about expectations, isn't it? Which gets us into so much trouble. Yeah.
How do I try not to expect anything? I always try and wait for signs when sitting silent. Lois Blackford is asking.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. How do I not try? Well, this is going to sound really funny, but we have to give up on trying and just choose the direction. So are you going to expect it or are you not going to expect it? Where do you commit to? And it's okay if you're still expecting. It's okay. It's really hard not to expect. I expect a lot of things still within my life. I expect, if I'm going to continue, this moment with you, that my lungs will still be breathing and Colin will still be here listening to the words that I'm saying. I have minimal expectations, but I'll be surprised if all of a sudden that goes different. But to what level, Lois, are you willing to accept things? Accept things beyond your control, beyond your comprehension, beyond your comfortability, beyond your wants, your needs, your desires? I would start there. How much are you okay with things going completely different than what you'd expect or even want? And to start to surrender into some of that, and that will be a journey within itself. And then you say, I always try and wait for signs when sitting. And maybe you want maybe you want the signs. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's okay sometimes that we are not getting what we expect. And even more, sometimes, and this is what I believe. So you can say this is an expectation that I work with, even though I'm flexible with it. Sometimes I go, Spirit, give me this, or let's work with that. And I receive what I perceive as nothing. And I just go, wait a second. I know I didn't just get nothing. I just got things a different way. I just got exactly what I asked for, possibly, but I didn't see it the same way. I didn't hear it the same way. I didn't think about it the same way. My sensation did not process that, where my conscious could really dive into that experience. But if I all of a sudden sit back and go, wait, what was that? And I start to get curious, all of a sudden a door is unlocked. And surprise, even though I didn't have expectations, I still walked the journey that I was curious in and wanted. So it's almost like my expectations were given to me because I surrendered mine. Again, it sounds like a riddle, but you're probably being given a lot of what you want, but your expectations have to change on how you're getting it. So a lot of things to think of. Not saying we always get what we want, we always get what we expect. Not saying that at all, but it's funny how often it happens. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to give it over to you, Colin.
I've got to be very careful now with expectations.
Oh, please. Okay.
Okay. I'm kind of ruthless sometimes. For me, it's like zero expectations about anything, because expectations leads to suffering. It leads to us getting frustrated, angry. And when we look at most aspects where there's expectation, or we have the expectations of something, and we definitely shouldn't have expectations of spirit. I would put that in a broader sense to everybody. Because if somebody expected something of me, I'd just be sitting down laughing my head off and going, don't have any expectations. So spirit's obviously doing the same to us. When you go, Spirit, I expect this. So, and don't have expectations of others, because when we demanding, because it is a form of demanding, when we're expecting of others, we're putting them under pressure, and we're putting ourselves under pressure. Yes. Because we're going, well, I'm waiting. And they're going, well, I'm sorry, I can't meet your expectations. Oh, well, I'm disappointed now. It's like, and there's so many other aspects we can use. So for me, I just got no expectation. It's like when somebody's developing mediumship, healing, etc., especially trance and channeling, we've got to remove all expectations, because that steps in. That's another obstacle when we go within, when we're doing our development, spiritual development. If we put expectations on ourselves, we're actually putting an obstacle in what could be a clear path. And when we reach that obstacle, we're going to remove it. And you go, I've done that myself. I've stopped myself from developing, and I could have just took that extra step because I put an expectation in front of me. So it really, for me, it really applies across the board. No expectation. But I love the way you said it, Kelly. That was like really, for me, I was really in. It's like, no, I don't want to answer this question now. Because I was into, because you're saying, well, I have little expectations, like we're still going to be here in 5 minutes, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's, I can release though I do have some minimal expectations that come out with me being human, but if they all went away, since I'm willing to surrender my expectations at the same time, I'll just be like, oh, well, I kind of expected it to go this way, but it's okay, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, but I expect sometimes to be surprised too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's and you expect to have no expectations. So we're still in the energy of expecting something.
Correct. So it's like it needs to be dissolved completely. It's
Yeah.
another. I think it's another aspect. What's going to go out the window? That's getting transformed and dissolved.
So I think it's interesting because, it's okay. Part of having no expectations, I feel, is it's okay to talk about expectations. You-
Oh, I was expecting that.
Sounds paradoxical, but it's part of it. That's part of dissolving, the barrier, I think, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
Well, we can expect to dissolve expectations when we finish talking about
But maybe.
Well,
I'm just having fun. I'm having fun with you on it.
I love it. I love it. This is what. Oh, what's the next question?
Veronica's maybe it's more expectation stuff, but Veronica is saying expectations are a form of control when we need to be releasing control. I agree. I think that expectations with people are a very dangerous thing, and they're a very silly thing. I think expectations on ourselves, that dangerous or silly, just the same. But sometimes we can review that with the self and go, I get to learn about myself through the expectations.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add? And then we'll go to the next question.
No, he's right. I agree with Veronica on this because the control is as a direct result of the ego. The frequencies are connected. So in effect, the expectation comes from when we trace it back, ultimately it goes back to the ego again. It's like I want to control, and therefore in that controlling mode, then I have expectations. So it's all interlinked. Good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I'll keep that one short. But there was another timelines. There was a timelines one. Might be an interesting. Maybe tackle.
Oh, the timeline one.
No.
Yeah.
Take it.
I think the lost luggage can go with the shifting timelines even, right? You could even, they even can go hand in hand a little bit. Yeah, let's do Are We Shifting Timelines? I think this is a great one. Would you like to start or shall
I yeah, go for it. No, I'll go first because then you can counteract me. Because I don't like counteracting you. I don't want to say anything what might. Okay.
I'm okay with you going counter. I'm okay with that.
I'm going to throw this in. Let's throw this one. What was it? Are we shifting timelines?
Yes.
No, there is no such thing as timelines. It's an invention from the human mind. And off. Over to you, Kelly.
Did you say it? Oh, I love it. I love it. I think we can't be. So I might be countering you. So just bear with me. I'm not saying I know. I think.
Come on, say you know.
Well, you said it's an invention of the human mind. I don't know. So I'm gonna say from my interpretation, I don't know, and it could be an invention of the human mind. It could be we're psychologically deep diving. And because we talked about earlier, is time even real? And well, how can I put this, Colin? Let me ask you, in your mind, are timelines the same as alternate dimensions conceptually, or are they different things to you?
They're different things to me.
Okay. Sometimes I look at them as the same, even though they're very different. I can understand that. So, Are we
Sorry,
shifting
see the association. Sorry, Kelly. I can see the association what people make or a
right?
mind can make to them. Yes. So right. Got you.
Okay. So are we shifting timelines? I'm gonna say I'm gonna agree with Colin because I understand kind of the different viewpoints. I'm gonna agree with Colin. No, we're here. You know, we're evolving as we need to evolve. Are there other dimensions? And are there other things going on? I would say
Most
probably.
definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely. We can expand
And
on this.
please go. I'm gonna hand it back to you then.
Brilliant. Okay then. Let's. So guys, this is for everybody watching. This is for entertainment purposes only, but it's still true. I'm starting to get full. Right. But it's only mine, not yours, guys. Not yours. So, time. Let's go to time then. For me, time is a frequency, and it's a specific frequency. I believe it's a slow-moving frequency. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because it's a frequency which is it's got to be slow in order for us to make sense of the world we live in. So time is, I don't want to say time has been invented, but a frequency is present upon this world, what we refer to as time. Okay, when we're thinking in a big scheme about energies. So then we go, okay, time is a frequency which has been created in order for us to make sense of reality, or this reality. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because we know we can measure distance, time and distance, okay? But we know time and space. But we know when we ascend, expand, or meditate, we move, our awareness moves beyond time. Because we've all meditated, or most people meditated and go, where's the time gone? Because there was no time when in that. So what we're looking at is when we attain a certain frequency of awareness, we've moved beyond time because it's a dense energy. It's only slowed itself down in order for us to make sense of this airplane. Now then, when we're talking about shifting timelines, we're trying to present ourselves as knowing that there's many timelines in other dimensions and realms because we associate it. Now, the closest we can say is in other realms and dimensions, is the time in them dimensions the same as what the one we associate to? Because if that's the case, then those dimensions are dense. Because we know there's dense energy here because it slowed itself down for us to make sense of it. So now some people I know I respect, might be a little bit of a shift to get your head around. So what we're actually saying when we're talking about timelines, and I'm not talking directly to Ascending Universe book, but I'm talking generally. When we're talking about shifting timelines and timelines associated with other dimensions, our only knowledge of time is in this plane, is on this planet. So we're then saying, oh, there's other dimensions then, what are dense, working off a dense frequency, the same as this plane. What about faster frequencies? Well, as soon as we look at faster frequencies, we go, well, yeah, there's got to be faster timelines. There can't be faster timelines. They can't exist as such. And the reason being is because it would stretch energy further. And we know infinite, and we know energy is infinite and beyond the concept of what we think is time. So then we're going beyond time and space into the emptiness, if you like, of infinity. So analyzing all this, we can say time is only connected to this earth plane or to the earth or another planet, what's at this stage of its evolution. We can't say about other timelines in other places because we know as soon as we go to a nice pure frequency or faster frequency in our awareness, we tap into and communicate with dimensions what are moving very fast as we understand it, which we refer to as beyond time. So we're going to be very cautious. So in effect, we're we wipe the whole aspect of timelines out. So all this talk about timelines everywhere is another concoction what the human mind's made. And I know the guys who love timelines are going to love me for saying this. Let's have a debate.
Well, I'm just maybe I'm going down the rabbit hole, like, you know, a little bit too much. But I'm thinking about like space, and there's like time distortions in space, and you know, the further you get to a black hole, the time starts getting more and more, you know, exaggerated with that deviates from our laws.
Yeah.
And even there was physicists that you know, confirmed that we all experience time differently, like by the fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a
Right.
second.
Right.
It's like if you happen to be standing to the side of somebody, the way that light hits you, which is
Yes.
basically a record of time, is different. And so everything is relative. Everything is
Yes.
literally relative. And you could make an argument for time, but it is there's not concrete objectivity to time. So yeah, it's very irrelevant, even though you can measure some things of it.
Mm.
So that's where my mind goes for a second, but it also goes to like being a psychic and like predictions, and you can reach out and know by somebody's projected energy, like this is going to happen, or this is probably
Yeah.
going to happen,
Yeah.
or and sometimes those decisions change. So it's very interesting. I do think. I don't think collectively, like, you know, there's these massive shifts going on, but I do think that our choice makes us very powerful, and then you could have a
Mm.
philosophical discussion on
Yeah.
our timelines changing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pleased you brought that one up, Kelly, because when we're talking about like the known galaxies, etc., black holes, etc., we're still making a reference to the physical known plane of existence, which is where time is relative to, because we associate to it. So it's like we're standing on the Earth. To go to the moon, there's a distance. Go to out further into space to Mars, they said that extend that further. So we're still associating to the time in its present wave or frequency, so to speak. I love the fact that when you said about when somebody's standing next to it, and we can bring light in on this as well, and the speed of light, etc. So we're measuring light according to, again, the timeline, what we've measured, light going from A to B, etc. And this is what tells me that, again, time in a way is that one of the main things, what's imposed limitation upon our awareness and our ability to be these expansive celestial beings. It's contained us to such a degree, and it's been used, etc. What we've got here now, time's linked to the physical world.
Time is directly linked. This is Veronica's comment. Time is directly linked to the physical world, i.e., a quantum clock will tick. Time linked to the decay rate of radium. But the way we perceive time shows that our perception awareness is outside of time, interacting with the physical world. I think that's right. I mean, so the concept of, you know, I don't think time itself is changing. It's just we are powerful beings that get to co-create reality.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and then we acknowledge the awareness in one another, and we say, based on your awareness, the likelihood of this to go like this is shaping itself to be this. But
Correct.
you get to rewrite it if you want.
Yeah. No, I like this one, to be honest. I like this aspect because I think there's so many people at the moment. What we're looking at is a massive information and people trying to find their way through it. And the vibrations, what they're drawn to, the frequency of knowledge and spiritual teachings are drawn to and gravitated to, determines that space what they exist in and the knowledge where they're referring to. The timeline frequency with a lot of people at the moment, I believe, is a stepping stone. They're using it as a stepping stone to expand their awareness and consciousness to its next stage. So I kind of sit here and go, okay, my analysis and understanding of time, the timelines, is this. And having that comfortability regarding my perception of that. So we're all playing these roles in and relating to frequencies, which is going to project us to its next stage, or project us to a next stage in the evolution. So I respect totally this use of the term timelines.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, it's like time really doesn't exist. It's really, a dense frequency. It's a dense frequency.
I agree, and I think like we're solidifying, I guess, some of this discussion, because Veronica gave like a really again, she's commenting, humans understand time as the progression from one physical movement to the next physical one physical moment to the next physical moment. Remove the physical aspect and you remove time. Yeah. And I think that's exactly right. I think that time really doesn't exist, but and I love how you're saying it, Colin, we are in a dense reality, and time has a dense concept, and it's how we measure things. And so as humans, it's important to sometimes talk about the concept of time, but it's actually irrelevant, and it should highlight other things ultimately, I would imagine. So, but hey,
definitely. Just on a light note with it, it's like we can say, I'm moving that fast, I haven't got time to talk about time. We can all say that. Because it's free density. I'd like to jump on that point, Kelly, if it's okay. When you on about
the density,
being living in this dense thing, I think it's so relevant to everybody's spiritual growth that if we recognize there's everything is in densities. We can call them planes, dimensional realms, etc. So we say, okay, there's a density to the plane we're existing in. When we look at that, I think anybody who's on a spiritual path, it's really beneficial for them, because then it gives them some kind of concept within themselves, in their own awareness, to go, okay, if this is a density and I'm trying to communicate with lighter planes, it tells us I need to move my mind there. I think it's really helpful, and I think it's helpful for anybody who's developing mediumistically, because okay, rather than me sitting here waiting for spirit to come to me, what am I doing? I'm in this dense state of matter, what we think. I need to move myself, because if we bring the separation in, which we know there isn't anymore, but in this certain frequency, if we bring the separation aspect in, it's like, right, spirit's over there and I'm here. They're willing to meet me halfway. Okay, I'm in this density. I'm going to lighten up. I'm going to open up, expand, and I'm going to send and shine my light in order to make that attunement with them. And I think so. Referring to density was kind of triggered that one in me, which I think is relevant for people. Maybe it's not.
I think, like, the universe is made up of different frequencies, and we are more than just one frequency, and right now we are dense. A part of us is dense because we need to play out on this plane, on this dimension.
Dense all my life.
You've been dense all my life. Well, isn't that funny? Well, as humans, we're pretty dense to spirit, like, no pun intended.
Yeah.
So it goes with everything.
This is so true. I don't know if this will help anybody, actually, because saying that, it's like when we're communicating with spirit and when spirit's coming through, it might be, I don't know, some people might want to know this information when they're developing their psychic and mediumistic abilities. these planes, what we make reference to, if we view them as densities, spirit's got to come through them densities to get to us. And we've got to go through them to get to them. That takes a lot of energy for spirit to do. You know, people can go, spirit's just a thought.
Does it though? I kind of
Pardon?
wonder, does it though? I wonder, does it though? I wonder.
What? Is it what?
Takes energy for us. I kind of wonder. I wonder.
Oh.
That is or is that I hear that a lot where they're like it. I think it takes a lot of energy, but I don't think that's necessarily that difficult for spirit. But it does take a lot of energy.
Right. This is a good point. This we're just opening this up a little bit. Because you've made a good point, Kelly. Right. So on one level, it's not, because they can easily top up their tanks from the energy field of energy around them, which is the light. Okay. So then they go, right, I need to top my tanks up because I'm going down there, okay, to see my family and my loved ones, okay. But when they're coming through specific frequencies, like like spectrums of frequencies. And as they're coming through, then they've got to stand in and withstand this field of energy of the airplane to get close to us. And that takes energy to hold that link from their side to us. So they go, right, time's up, I've got to go back. And I think that's all connected to energy. And so I agree with you saying it doesn't really take that, because it's like they can get in. But when we go that next step in, you go, well, then actually there's the other side where it does. So I think on this occasion, I think we're probably both in agreement with each other's views, because I think you're right in what you're saying.
I think right. That it's interesting when we think things are hard, you know, when we think things are hard, that sometimes we extend that concept to the spirit world, and it's fascinating.
Okay. Yeah,
it's fascinating.
it is.
I want to go to a question, but really quick, Veronica is saying energy is linked to the physical world. Spirit is not of this world and therefore does not have energy in a physical sense. It's different types of energies. Yes, I do think it's different types of energies. Is that what you mean, Veronica? We're grounding different types of energies. We're meeting with different types of energies.
First question: has everybody else left? Is there only Veronica here?
No. Everyone. There's a bunch of people listening, and there's people commenting. There's one question here it is up top. There's some people who are everybody. I know there's a bunch of people still here. Say hello. Jennifer was laughing at what you said earlier. Ascending butterflies still asking questions, and yes. Let's see. There were so many questions before we were like honing in on only a certain few, but this is another one. What? That is one, but there was another one before that. Oh gosh, where was it? I was actually looking for her other question. Oh yeah, this one. So we can go back to that one if you like, but let's look at this one.
Yeah.
In a given day, how many energies do we interact with and attach to our auras without even realizing the impact carrying unwanted baggage?
Absolutely brilliant question.
And people are laughing. They're saying we're still here.
I think you guys are still here.
Kim's like, hi.
I'm going to go to bed.
Jennifer.
Everybody's gone home and gone to bed. Right then. So the butterfly one. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to come back to Veronica's if that's all right in a minute. But the butterfly one, she was saying, how many energies do we interact with? Can we find that again, Kelly, please?
Yeah. Here we go. I got it. It's up top. I got it.
I can see the questions now as well. I can see the chat.
Here we go. I found it.
In any given day. Okay then. So the reason why I find this really fascinating and interesting is because this came up last week in a certain way when we think of, since we're a child, since we're born, how many environments we've been present in, all the way through our lives. Every single day we've been in different environments, and our awareness senses every particle and atom in that environment. Like, so we go, okay, this is an incalculable number to a human mind anyway, because we know we're receptive beings as well as transmitters. So we can send signals out and we can receive signals. That's the auric field, or the field of energy. And I liken it to we can bring the toroidal field in, but I liken it to the emanation of our awareness. So our awareness is like, we can liken it to an optic fiber lamp with all the sensors, the little sensor pads on the end of that optic fiber lamp. And that's in the space around us, sensing all the energy. That's why we receive these signals of, is it a good environment? Is it a dangerous environment, etc., etc. We'll level it all up because we're receiving them signals. So that's telling us that in every environment we go in, we're sensing everything what's in that environment. Everybody else's auric field, the energy, what's taking place in that environment, good, bad, or indifferent, whether it's a home, a shop, a bar, whatever it is. When we've traveled this journey, we've taken all that on board. And it's all stored in our memory field. Everything is. And then we've placed it by its degree of gravity and importance to us. So if we've had a close relationship to somebody for several years, we're sensing lots of different aspects of that person's emotions and thoughts, etc., etc., and we've recorded it all. And if we've got a bit of a distance to somebody, and we haven't sensed too much energy, but we've still sensed it, that's here as well. That's why we can remember every single thing about any environment we've been in and any person we've ever met at any point. So I kind of wanted to give that broad picture. So then we go, okay, I'm filled up with all this stuff because we're carrying it on. So then and I'm just going to skip slightly. So when we look at the world at large and we see war and violence, etc., we're sensing that because it's not just from the immediate area environment. We're talking the village, the city, the country, and then the world. We're sensing it all and we're carrying it all within us, each one of us, according to its own gravity, or according to the weight we give gravity to it. So then we go, right then, if we are beings of light, if we are transformers and alchemists, we are constantly churning this energy around. So when we talk about healing for the world, this is the process what's taking place. We're taking on board some of the external negative aspects, transforming that energy and projecting it back out as light and healing rays. The key for me in understanding this, and I still absolutely love this question from this person, the key to really working with this and understanding it in its entirety, whatever that entirety might be, according to the limitations of this mind, is to be empty, to let go every single thing. And again, we're back to being that fluid space where it comes through us, it gets transformed, and it goes back out as light. But I think this is really important because it connects so much to shadow work and letting go. And that's why some people go, well, that energy didn't belong to me, but why was it why was it present with me when I was doing my letting go process or doing my shadow work? Or memory from when we was 3 or 5 or 7, which was just a one split-second memory, go, where did that come from? That's because we was in that environment, we saw and experienced that energy, and we sensed it and took it on board. Brilliant question. Anyway, that's a short version.
Yes, I mean, well, there's always a lot to say on it. I mean, it depends on what you look at it as. So some things do feel like baggage. Some things are baggage, and really, what we usually associate baggage with is, unkept things, outdated things, um, you know, things that are not sparkly, shiny, not appealing, not pleasing, and so we want to be gone with it. And they're just sticking around, and we're like, I don't want this. Right? But right, we've experienced them. They are connected to us. And I do think it's reorganizing energy, part of it, but it's also acknowledging our consciousness. So in order to get rid of baggage, you have to be conscious enough to go, I'm going to clean this.
Yeah.
You have to be conscious enough to go, I'm going to do something with this. I got this signal that I don't need this, or I have to do something with this, or what is this? And I do think that's the empowerment piece of it, because we just in one day pick up billions of information. I mean, there's stats with psychology of, like, I think in I forget if it's 1 second or 1 minute. I don't know, but it's something like within a second or a minute, we pick up like 250,000 pieces of information on average, and like we're only able to filter that small piece. That's just in a moment. That's in a moment. And so, like, think about that compounding for your entire day. We're just riddled with information, and we go back to this concept of, we're all connected, so it's like, good luck. We're all connected to even the baggage, and but we can manage our energy. I do feel that. I
Yes.
do feel that. And we're returning back to these mentions of stillness and enlightenment and awareness. And I feel like if you're working with energy from stillness, enlightenment, and awareness, gosh, you can get a lot done. And you can either transform your baggage, because you're so aware, into this beautiful handbag that's sparkly new, or reconstructed, or maybe you just put it in a different location, or you say goodbye to it. Whatever energetically you need to do, we have to be home somehow in order to clean the house. If we're always traveling and we're like, I don't like what's going on in the house, I'm gonna go run, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, I'm gonna go to a concert. If we're never home, we can't clean the house if it's really baggage.
Love it. I love it, Kelly. It's true.
Okay, cool. All right. So
true.
there's so much to talk about. But I'm gonna have to have you on another time, my friend.
Thought the same.
What'd you say?
I thought the same. I thought the same.
Please. And thank you for people are given some love. Thank you, Charlene, and thank you, Ascending Universal Butterfly. I always give guests parting words, and so what would you like to say from your heart, or from the top of your mind, or wherever it comes from?
Well, I'm tempted to say to everybody, don't call me, I'll call you. But that might be not. No, I would say, let's have a look. Let's see what spirit maybe inspires. The most profound and sincere appreciation for everybody for taking the time to be here with yourself, Kelly, and that wonderful invitation to bring me on. Stay strong in the light. Hold your vibration, manage your energies, don't fear the present and the changes what's here currently, and keep close to spirit. That's it. There's so many other things what could come, but yeah, I think this moment in time is tumultuous, to say the least, and I think take comfort and support in the spiritual community around you.
Everybody, I hope you got some comfort today with the spiritual community. Hopefully we We didn't make you go like, why are you talking about timelines? Why are you talking about consciousness? No,
Well,
I'm sure they came for this reason. I'm joking with you. They came for this reason.
we can say we're not completely guilty, are we? We didn't really pick a subject before we come on, so we just went with the flow, didn't we? So
yeah, the consciousness flow, exactly, absolutely. With that said, please check out Colin and the I'm not saying it right.
Menorca.
There we go. Menorca
Makura.
Consciousness Group. In fact, I want to pop it down. Where can people find you besides your website and Facebook?
Well, hopefully they can't. So it's all through Menorca Consciousness Group.
Well, where are some of the best places that people can contact you? Is it the website? Is it the
website? To contact us, yeah, the website. info@ethericweb.com.
All right, I'm gonna pop that down. And everything is connected to the show if you want to reach out with Colin's information. But yes, please, if you want to continue the consciousness development, he facilitates many classes and courses in trance mediumship as well. Yeah,
trance, channeling, ascension. We've got a new mediumship course coming up starting next week. Places available. We've got the Ascension the following weekend with American times as well and Canadian times. We try to keep some of our times now in line because we do have American guys from across the pond coming on to some of our things. And it can be early for them. And they've been making the effort the last couple of years to join us. And they're up at 2 and 3 in the morning. And it's like, no, we need to shift the time to suit. So some things will make it suitable for both sides of the pond. But mostly we've got this, we're starting a new virtual centre very soon, where people will be able to come and practice the channeling, and there'll be spaces open, support rooms, open circles during the day, etc. Healing, there'll be a trance healing clinic, 6-week free awakening to your spiritual gifts, etc. So there's so much. So we're looking forward to opening the new centre, the virtual centre. It will be online, and there's masses of stuff going on in there when it starts.
Okay, so lots of upcoming things with the Makora Consciousness Group. Check it out, and hi, Michael Zinn, for coming in at the very end. I'm waving to him.
Hi, Michael.
Hello. But with that said, we will have you on again, and I wish you and our audience to go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live, everybody. We will see you soon on Friday for Embracing Infinity and the Numerology Hour. See you then. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Lots of love. Lots of love to everybody. Thank you, Kelly.